Good evening. Guten Abend. Northern Ireland Press Conference. Sorry for the slight delay. We have Craig Cathcart, who is filling in for Stephen Davis, our captain. Craig is going to earn his 50th cap tomorrow night for Northern Ireland, and the Northern Ireland manager, Michael O'Neill. So, questions, please. Sorry, just wait for the microphone, please. Thank you.
Michael, obviously Jamal was ruled out this morning. What's the state of play with the rest of the squad in terms of fitness, and what's the mood really going into tomorrow night?
The rest of the squad are fine. Just have to monitor Johnny. He's just had a little bit of illness, so we just need to keep an eye on that. And Jamal, well, he wasn't ruled out this morning. He was ruled out yesterday morning. So otherwise everyone's fine. We had no injuries from the other night. We've one or two little niggles, people that'll sit out training tonight, but we anticipate that they'll be fit for tomorrow.
Anyone else?
Done? We're done? Okay.
No. No. Down the front here, sorry. Down the front. This, just here.
Michael, how important is it to finish this campaign on a high note, I suppose, to get that momentum going towards next March?
Listen, it's very important to finish on a high note, but it's just as possibly as difficult place as you could come to try and get that high note. But, we finished the qualification campaign, home and away to obviously Germany and Holland. I think in all the games we've acquitted ourselves very well. I think we've been a little bit unfortunate in some of the games, so we would hope for something similar tomorrow night, and we would hope to obviously try and take something from the game. That being said, we know how difficult this German team is. Very much, it's a relatively new team. It's obviously from the World Cup in 2018, but I think it's a team that is developing quite quickly and is very quickly becoming a top side again.
Michael, just on that point, when you look at the group, you got 13 points at this stage. Is that almost realistically speaking, the best that Northern Ireland could have done, or are you always hoping for more, bearing in mind the opposition?
Well, no, I mean, we obviously hope for more, but we haven't got them, as we talked about, we look back to the game in Belfast and, we had chances at 0-0, and we didn't take them, so obviously that was an opportunity that the players, and I'm sure Craig will verify this, that we felt we missed. We obviously led in Rotterdam, and we only lost the 2 goals right in the injury time. So of course we were in a position to possibly take more points. But people have to be realistic with the level of the opposition that we're playing against as well, and for our players, and for most of our players it's a huge step up. So I think, as I say, for us to get to the finals ahead of Germany and Holland, I'm not sure how many other teams in Europe would be capable of doing that. So we have the route of a playoff now, and that's where obviously the positive for us is that we won't play any team in the playoffs at the level of Germany or Holland.
Michael, given the level of performances, certainly in the last few games, has it surprised you just how well the team have coped against the bigger nations, or is this squad even capable of surprising you anymore because of the level of performances?
It hasn't surprised me. You always hope that in these games that you don't lose goals early, because it's difficult to get back into the game against this level of opposition, and we saw that in Belfast when we went behind so early in the second half, and we had a 20-minute spell where it was very difficult for us, but we did create chances towards the end of the game again, didn't take them, and the last goal is really, it's a bit irrelevant, to be honest, because we're pushing so far forward to try and take something from the game. The team has, I think it's pleasantly surprised me, because in these games we've had more of an attacking threat than we have in the previous games. We've always had to come with a strategy of being difficult to beat, but equally in these games, whilst we've been very difficult to beat, I think we've carried more threat than we have at other times.
Then we go down the back.
Sorry, Michael, given this is sort of your final regular qualifier as Northern Ireland manager, on a reflective note, how do you sort of reflect on the consistency your team has shown over the past 3 campaigns, given you qualified for the Euros, playoff for the last World Cup, and now a playoff again?
Delighted, really, because, I think a lot of people thought after Euro 2016 that with the loss of some players that we wouldn't be able to replicate that. We did that, and we're very unlucky to miss out in Russia 2018. And there's been an influx of new players, relatively inexperienced players that have been asked to play international football at a very early stage of their club career as well. So how those players have adapted to it is, I think it's testament to the likes of Craig, Johnny, Davo, those players, because they have been the backbone of the consistency of the team and have made it easier for the younger players when they've come in as well. So, I think we're in a good place. I think if you look at our qualification record in terms of, I think before we played Germany in the first game in September, it was over 60% in terms of our win ratio. For a country like Northern Ireland to have that win ratio in qualification games is extremely pleasing. But we just have to try and maintain this level. We hope that in future UEFA is a little bit kinder to us when they pull the balls out of the pots and we get a better draw. But otherwise, the team is going in the right direction.
There's a chap, down the back, has been trying to get a question for ages.
No. Oh, sorry.
Not you.
Oh, I don't think it was me. One for each of you. Michael, how much will you be looking at Hungary-Wales tomorrow night and still having that possibility of Hungary qualified to get a home semi-final, potentially, in the playoff, and the difference that would make? And Craig, a long way from, Maribor in Slovenia, and that night at left back in the debut, and the journey that it's been from then until now, you probably couldn't have believed that you would, be going on these qualification runs whenever you made that debut in Slovenia.
Yeah, well, it's obviously been a long time since then. Change of manager, and the squad's changed so much since then as well. So back then, I would never have thought that it would have went so well, especially over these last 5 or 6 years. The success we've had, the games we've won, the experience of going to a major competition and playing against the top team. So yeah, it's been incredible. It's an incredible ride over the last 5 or 6 years, and it's something that we want to continue. We've got a young squad now coming through again, and we want to carry it on.
We'll not be thinking too much about Wales and Hungary. It's things that are out of your control. I think we'll be too busy with what's going to happen out there on the pitch to be worried what's happening in Cardiff. And as I said, yes, ideally if your first playoff game is a home game, that's certainly an advantage. There's no doubt about that. But again, for us, it's about the level of performance, again, replicating that. And, you come into these scenarios and at home to Holland and away to Germany. Is there a more difficult double header that you could have? So, having come through these 2 games, we'll be ready to play a double header, I think, regardless of the situation come March.
This chap right at the back in the Adidas top.
From a German perspective, welcome to Frankfurt. And
Thank you.
What do you expect from a German team already being qualified and making several changes to the team tomorrow?
7 changes? Several or 7? Several. Yeah. I'm not sure the team will be any weaker. I would imagine, hopefully, Tony Cruz gets a rest. And 1 or 2 others. Gnabry, I think, needs a rest as well. So we will we'll face a very strong team. We face the one of the difficulties we always have playing Germany is when Yogi makes substitutions and you realise that the players coming on are equally as strong as the players that are going off. So that's a big challenge for us. But what you have, I always think when you have a squad with the number of options that obviously Germany have, is that for the players coming in, it's a massive incentive because they want to go to the finals. And if you think about it from international, they'll have very few opportunities to do that. They'll have the opportunities to play games in March. So this is the first game in terms of, I suppose, for those players who are possibly given the opportunity to say that they deserve to play, they deserve to be part of the squad for the finals. And, you know, it's a big thing for any player to be part of a squad that goes to a major tournament. I don't think it matters how many times you go. And obviously Germany go all the time. So I think we'll face a very highly motivated team tomorrow night.
Okay, final 2 questions. Paul here and Jim. Okay. This one first, please.
Craig, can I just ask you from a player's perspective, what's the mindset going into such, a match against such formidable opposition?
Well, it's a game, it's going to be really difficult. We played against them not so long ago. We know that they're going to be a big threat, especially here at home. We might have to adapt the way we play a little bit, but as a player, these are the games you want to play in against the top teams and try to test yourself against the top players. And it's not one we're going to be worried about. We want to go into the game and try to enjoy it as much as we can and try to get the best result possible out of it.
Jim?
Michael, now you're a club manager as well. Do you have sympathy for any club manager who might be ringing you up saying, take your foot off the gas with my players?
No, because I switched my phone off the last 48 hours, so I have no sympathy whatsoever at this minute in time. Look, it's difficult, I wasn't in a position to phone Mick McCarthy up and tell him not to play James McLean, for example. But of course, it's look, international football is very important for players. And I think I understand at times the scenarios that club managers find themselves in, but equally it's very important for the player to get that opportunity to play international football. I think a player who comes away and has a positive international experience is a better player for you ultimately in the long run with your club. And what we've found is that for our players, there's no doubt that having the experience at international has helped them at club level. It's helped them get possibly moves that under other circumstances they may not have got. And I think people see them playing on the big stage and see them playing the major finals, and it helps them, because I think overall, probably players from Northern Ireland are typically a little bit underrated. So as I say, I think it's a positive, and it's probably a question that I'll be able to answer honestly in a few more months.
Okay, folks, thank you very much. The one-on-one's just out the back here.